YouTube. Thanks for tuning in again to Cummins Camping. Matt here again, and I did the 6 things that I hated about my Dodge Cummins, and today we're going to do the 6 things that I love about this truck. This is 6 things is a short list either way really, but mostly the things that I love about it, because I love this truck. I'm 40 years old now. I remember when these trucks came out new, and when they changed the body style on them to the new style like this, well, I call this new style, second gen style, and I loved it and fell in love with these trucks as soon as they came out. But this is the only one I've ever owned. I kind of compare it to the Ford, because I had a Ford. I had a 2000 Super Duty. Had the 5.4 in it, but body style wise I compare it to that. So we're going to get into these. I'm going to talk just a little bit about them, each one. The 6 things that I love. Here we go. Number 6 is the body style, the looks of these trucks. Now, the looks of them, from my standpoint, actually is just the second gen body style. I loved it. I actually like the looks of the first gen. My dad actually had an 81, and it was pretty much unchanged until they went to this style. His 81 had a 318 in it, and I loved that truck, but I loved the looks of the second gen body style. They went to these mirrors, flip out mirrors that, I mean, you see these things, they have such a presence coming down the road that I just love them. The body lines, the shape of the front end puts you in the mind of a Mack truck when they first came out, you know. Of course, I have the different grill on this. If you see those coming down the road, you just know what it is right away. They have a lot of presence on the road, and I just love the body style look of it. So that's number 6. Number 5 I have is the ride quality of these trucks. Now granted, it's a 1-ton truck. It still rides like a 1-ton truck. I love it. I love the way they ride. You know, a truck should ride like a truck. Now, GM has the best ride quality as far as comfort, but you can't compare a Dodge or a Ford to a GM. GM doesn't use a solid front axle. They have independent front suspension. Independent front suspension, ride quality wise, trumps a solid front axle every time. You're not going to compare the two. So as far as the ride quality in 01, Dodge had the ride quality for a solid front axle. Ford at the time was still using leaf springs. Dodge has coil springs. Coil springs ride better. That was terrible as far as showing that. There was no, I don't have any light up in there. Got the coil springs there. Now, we talked about in the video last time, front ends were kind of weak on the Dodge, but when it's all tight, it's all good, new, whatever, the ride quality was there. They actually ride really nice. Like I said, my 2000, and I've ridden in the diesels on the early Power Strokes. They didn't ride as nice. They're a rough riding truck. And I like the way a truck rides, but this one rides nice. And that's going to be my number 5. Number 4 is the ease of maintenance and repair, in my opinion, is really good on these. They're easy to work on. Let's face it, you use a truck for a truck, you're going to work on it. And the diesel engine doesn't get any more wide open than this. Pickup truck diesel engines are not easy to work on, and there's stuff on this engine that's not easy to get to. But for this, you take off that hose and that air cleaner, and that turbo comes off in about 10 minutes. you don't get that in a Power Stroke. I can get a Power Stroke 6-liter Power Stroke turbo off probably half hour to 45 minutes. I can have it off sitting on the ground. This is 10 minutes. This is easy. The 7.3 turbocharger, twice as long as a 6-liter. They're just not easy to get to. They're clear back there. I just think these are easier to work on. The fuel pump, the lift pump is right down there. Easy to get to. There's room. Everywhere you look, there's room. Even working on the front end, if you had to work on the front end, none of it's hard to get to. The trucks sit up pretty high. You can get under them with a creeper. That's another thing that I don't care for GM. You can't roll under it with a creeper most of the time. You gotta get it up in the air, lift it, whatever. I don't have a big beef with GM. I like the looks of their trucks. They run good. The Duramax runs good. But ease of maintenance to me goes to Dodge overall. At least in this platform, you know. I'm not talking anything other than the 2nd gen Cummins platform, just because that's what I have and that's what we're reviewing today. So that's my number 4, ease of maintenance and repair. So easy to change the oil. Anything you want to do pretty much isn't hard, whether you got to work on it a bunch or not. Okay, so my number 3 is going to be what I love. It's the towing capability of this truck and the fact that it's a dually. You know, I didn't know if I ever wanted a dually. I never really wanted a dually because I don't want to buy 6 tires every time. I got a decent deal on these tires. They're Cummins. But I've got the, you know, the cab and a half 8-foot bed dually. And you hook that trailer, which is a 30-foot camper, just a big box on wheels, to this truck. And I don't run a anti-sway hitch or anything. I hook it up and go. I know people probably gonna get on me about that, but I don't run an anti-sway hitch. I don't like them for backing up, but I've never had a problem. You run the dually, you don't have as much sway in the rear end. Now I'd love to have the gooseneck or fifth wheel. I have a gooseneck hitch, but no fifth wheel plate or anything. Just the dually platform, so much more solid as far as towing. Run the flatbed with a tractor on it, a couple vehicles on it, and it sticks to the road. It doesn't give you the back end sway. If you get back end sway out of this, you got something worn out, because it's just solid. So that's my number 3. I love the dually part of it. Number 2, in my opinion, is going to be the rock solid NV4500, the 5-speed. And I know a lot of guys love the 6-speed, but it's pretty much proven if you go to talk to anybody about truck pulling, what's the transmission they build? It's going to be the 4500. It's more of a solid platform. It's a stronger platform. Now they'll block out 1 or 2 gears and basically make it like a 3-speed to pull. But and the shifting is so smooth in these trucks. The 6-speed probably is just as smooth, the 5600. But I do like the 5-speed. I like the way it shifts, the spacing between gears. When the truck is stock, spacing between gears feels a little bit too far, but when you program it, give it a little bit more power, it's pretty much perfect. It's shifting at 18 to 2100 RPM is about perfect spacing. So that's my number 2. Is the transmission in these trucks is very nice to run, very nice to shift. Driving experience is just right on. My number 1 if you couldn't guess it already, is right there. Cummins 24 valve turbo diesel. This is the Cummins engine. That's my number one reason that I bought this truck. Because especially in a dually platform, I would have never bought a Dodge with a 360. The 360 runs decent, but for what I want to do, pulling a camper, pulling a flatbed trailer not a lot, but whenever I want to, and the camper 3 or 4 times a year, right there's where it's at. That Cummins engine is just bulletproof pretty much. You take care of that thing, it's going to take care of you. It runs, it starts up, it fires up every time you want it to. Regular maintenance is all you got to do. So that sells these trucks, and everybody knows it. Without the Cummins engine, you stick a 6-liter Power Stroke in this thing, and people are going to hate me for this. You stick a 6-liter Power Stroke in this, and it wouldn't have sold. It wouldn't have sold as well, near as well as what this Cummins is selling. And that's why they've had it for so long. But that's my number one thing that I love about this truck. And the list could go on and on, but that's my 6 things. Hope everybody enjoyed the video, and remember to like, subscribe, share, and we'll catch you in the next video.